All right, let me show my intro. Sorry, guys, still getting used to this new format. Oh, darn it. Here, let me just do this. Let me just do this. And it's just an impromptu stream. There was a request for a longer conversation, so I said, why not? So if this person comes in, great. If not, no biggie. I'll talk about something else. All right, here we go. Add screen share. Entire screen. There we go. There we go. All right. There we go. All right. Hello, hello. How is everyone? All right, stop sharing. All right. So, little impromptu stream for the people. Did it for the people. So, I am now live. I don't know if. All right, I do this anyway. So, what the, with the. Uh-oh. One thing I noticed is that Windows is trash update, man. Windows is straight trash. It's just I've never wanted Linux more. Never. But here we are. So let me share my screen again. So let me unpack this, right? People wanted to be, there's different commentary on this little incident here, right? Went for civil debate. Oh, where's the music? I didn't turn the music on. All right, music's on. All right, so, hey, what's up, Uncut Underground? Where's my AR content, bro? Right? You in here, but I still don't have any AR content. Why is that? All right. So, oh, and I like the flag too, USA. Dominic, I see you. What's up? So, so this here, everybody's like, oh yeah, oh this is this and what it is. And here's what I noticed, right? Now, I don't know if people do these at HBCUs a lot, right? I've only seen 2. And what I wanted to know is, all right. I'm going to hold you to that. How do I highlight comments on here? Oh, chat. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna hold you to that. All right, AR City is on the way. All right, so I've only seen 2, right? And here's what I noticed. Let's watch the beginning.
We have 500 people watching.
We got 500 right here watching.
Look. Whoa. This is insane.
All of it. The entire system is for everybody. Anybody who's an American citizen.
So you feel like there's nothing. So you feel like everybody is equal.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's equal in their rights, but not everybody's obviously equal in their, what they have. Like, I grew up in a double wide trailer. He grew up in Boca Raton, so, we didn't grow up equal. We're both white. I mean, he's a Jew, so that's probably why he grew up in Boca Raton. But so we're not equal in what we possess as we start always, but we are equal in what we're allowed to do, our opportunity.
Can I ask you, do you think that there's any law that allows me to do something that you can't do, for example?
I don't think there's any laws that say that you can do something that I can't. But then again, this system can't be ignored. Like, we can't just say it does not exist because there are countless examples of it.
This the system. Okay. Now I'll play this one. What do you? There we go. Where's it at? Yeah. Okay.
Institution any of the metrics by which you would try to measure that. I don't think it exists. And if it does exist, I would argue, I think we see this in basically every institution, whether at a governmental level, and even as a people. I think that anti-white sentiment is very common now, and it's sort of written off as nothing too serious. I think it's even promoted in a lot of aspects. So I'm open to having my mind change. I know you are as well, so I'd just be curious to get your thoughts on my position and your position as well.
Okay, so one, I don't really think my mind is going to be changed. And two, I have to let you understand that you do think that racism is affecting white people now, but literally you're standing on the biggest HBCU, the biggest public HBCU in North Carolina, A&T, and I feel like you failed to realize that this is a HBCU, and the HBCU was actually created in order for black people that was seeking education, in order to have a safe environment where they don't have to worry about racism, where they don't have to worry about their skin complexion.
Hey man, what note on this, bro, is there are black colleges because they wouldn't let us go to school. No, I mean, just possibly, maybe black people wanted to go to school with other black people, since those were the people that they had most in common with. Maybe that's why they kept building those, right? HBCUs. Because they've been building HBCUs all throughout Reconstruction, post-Reconstruction, and a lot of HBCUs were built in the early 20th century. So maybe, possibly, they just wanted to go to school around each other. And it isn't because they just couldn't go to school. I doubt any of these people have ever actually looked up first black attendee of X or first black graduate of X school, because they're not going to find, they will be remiss kind of to find out that the first black happened a lot earlier than they thought. So, but what I noticed about this, right, these two videos, is they both started out amicably, right? It wasn't rancorous. It wasn't, oh my God, I got to get out of here. It started okay. It was fine, right? Oh boy. So look, so it starts off fine, right? You're just having a conversation. That's it. Just having a conversation. And then what happens?
It's like your race, your sex,
somewhere
all around.
Along
Feel that
the
American
line,
king.
you notice what's happening? They're speeding up the camera. What happens? There is a threshold reached. Did you notice the threshold reached? You notice that?
Where they don't have to worry about if their hairstyle is...
This is gay, by the way. Don't have to worry about their hairstyle. You know how... and some grease, right? So, hey, this link is just for Scorpio. So, I don't get that, right? It's like this, man, this narcissistic victim hard on, you know? Your great 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 grandma looked awesome, right? I mean, people that were urbanized. If you were in the rural area, right? Anywho, so what I notice, he's talking amicably. Where are we at? Where are we at? Hey, sorry, Scobriel, this is new. Dang, I heard a sound as if someone came into the studio, but I can't see. Dang. Ah, there you go. Okay, I got you. Wait, hold on. Where is? Are you in? Scorpio, are you in? It doesn't say edit, hide camera, remove guest. No, I'm not going to remove guest. Ah, there we go. All right. Is your mic connected? Okay, we'll let them figure it out. So to the point here, yeah, your mic might not be connected, Scorpio. Your camera's on because you don't have an avatar, but I don't think the audio is working. So, all right. So back to this. Again, having fun. Conversation was fine, and then get a little more people. It eventually turns into the same thing, right? Now it's like, okay, now they're grabbing the mic, right?
Out doing a segment like this during Black History Month.
Actually, it was precisely the decision because I thought that would.
And here's the other thing, man. Oh, there you are. I see. Yeah, I see a camera on. No audio though.
Camera's on.
Yeah, camera's on.
How do I switch it?
There should be like a camera icon. You probably should, if you're on your phone, just tap it and it should turn off your camera. Oh, that turned it around. So now it's showing your face.
All right.
There you go. All right, cool. So, all right, let me finish this thought. So basically, right, once you pass a certain threshold, then all hell breaks loose, right? All right, now it's mob action. This guy had to come over to try to get people from behind him, yada, yada, yada. It devolves, all right?
So, I just, we talked about things like slavery. We talked about things. No, we're not. You can't take our property, actually. You're making your students look so bad right now. We were trying to have productive conversation. You are making us look bad. You don't have the authority to do that. We are within our rights.
You're on our public property.
No, it's all of our public property. Just because we don't go here doesn't mean it's not ours. Doesn't matter. We are within our rights to be here. You are interrupting that for no reason.
What?
Okay, so you notice once you crossed a certain threshold, it all broke loose. Not unlike Black Flight. All right, you leave your neighborhood, you go somewhere else. First couple of black folks, that's fine. Right? But then there seems to be a threshold region. It all goes to shit. Yeah. So, and then, but anyway, that's what I noticed. Just finish that thought. So, Scorpio, what's up, man?
How you do? How you do?
Good, good. Let me take this down. All right. All right. So I asked, let me go back to that thread. I asked to explain to me what you are asking. And you wanted a longer
I'm
format. So here we
asking.
go.
Yeah, it's easier this way because 250 characters and on my main account I could probably do that because I had blue, but now on like that account, just not enough characters to explain. I'm essentially asking, basically it's like group politics. Like if other groups have assets and they built things or whatnot, it decreases the chances of us like attaining employment or building our own stuff. Like we can still attain the jobs and everything, but it decreases the chance. So I'm more looking at folks like, what if you go to this Asian restaurant and they choose the other Asians over you just because that's who they prefer? So like,
Mhm.
but if you get the job, say you get the job and then your kids come out, but the community didn't build nothing for like, the youth, the people after them, like all these families. So when they go out to the world, they have to go and ask all these other groups for employment opportunities and everything because of the lack of assets that Black folks attained throughout that time. So I'm essentially asking, like, like H-1B, how they are just getting rid of American workers, just generally American workers, to get like the Indians because they're cheaper. But then the Indians turn around and they take these spaces to hire more Indians, and they're not even hiring like white, black, or other people. So it's like you go to school to get your degree, but you're not getting the job, or you don't even know it exists because if you know the pipeline, they actually let the Indians know about the jobs, but you don't know about the jobs because the whole
Mhm.
pipeline. So I'm saying, like, what would you do? How would your children navigate this? How would you try to get employment in this environment if they're denying you? Like this other group is denying you just because, like, well, we don't want you. Simply just that.
Okay. Fair question. So my answer is you have to keep applying. Um, I've never been hired by an Indian, never, but I stay employed. So life isn't fair. Now I wasn't raised on life is fair. I was raised on look at what these other black people did, right? Booker T. Washington, freaking Percy, what's his name? I forget his last name, the chemist, right? Giving examples of basically the message is look what black people can do, right? So inherent in that is a format in which there isn't an excuse, right? I was told you got to work twice as hard to get the job, right?
Everything good?
So how would I navigate it would be this is the bar you have to meet, and it's not optional. You don't get to come back to me and say, um, and make excuses. That's not going to fly. I'm not going to do it, and that's it. That's how I was raised, and that's how I'm gonna raise my kids. That's how I'm raising my kids. And inherent, I guess, inherent in your question is Indians have families, right? Yeah, is it DuPont? Did he work for DuPont? I'm not sure. Hood. It's Percy. I forget his last name. I've got a brain fart right now. But so to your question, that's what I would do, right? Because I don't think life is fair. It's not fair, right? I wasn't raised in fair. I was raised in the bar. This is the bar. You got to meet it. So, yeah, that's it. And that's just one example. I mean, and honestly, that's where I don't know. That's the most amount of bias I faced in life, right? I've only been hired by non-Indians in IT. That's it. So, and I've made a career of it. So, you can get hired in trades. You can get hired, a lot of places because they're hungry for workers everywhere. So, that's my answer.
I fully agree with your approach and how you want to deal with that because that's how I would go about it if we don't have anything. I agree that life isn't fair, but I think that's something that people aren't understanding about when I'm asking the scenario. It's like if we don't build nothing, like that just hurts our chances of trying to improve our economic standing. Because if we don't build nothing, well, we have to go out there and we have to operate in these conditions, right? Because essentially, if Black folks had access, they built something prior, they would influence or increase their chances of getting employment. But if they don't have that, they have to go out there and it's going to be way harder. And what you said is like, well, that's what you can do. Either you do that or you just fall. Like there's no other, you have no other option. So that's what I'm, but that's basically what I'm asking. Like, if folks are not acknowledging this or doing anything, because other groups are saying, look, we're going to try to improve our situation. We're going to try to give ourselves advantages. That's not something that some Black folks are comprehending. Like, if as a group, folks came together, try to give themselves, a position where they can have leverage or something like that, that can increase their chances or that can improve opportunities for their families and their loved ones and people they know to try to give themselves a chance at life. So, like, inherently, I don't disagree with you about how you see it and how you think about it. Because when you come home, like, and you don't get the job, you're gonna have to just keep searching, or else you can't pay the bills. That's just the
Correct.
cold hard reality. So when people are looking at the H-1B and them losing their jobs, like how some people around me lost their jobs with the federal government in my county, I'm like, the reason why you guys lost those jobs and you come back and you have nothing here is because y'all ain't built nothing. Y'all thought that you was entitled to a job, but people are not going to necessarily give you one. Like a business doesn't have to give you anything. They don't have to employ you just because you think you should get employed. They're here to make money. If they feel, hey, we're gonna hire this other person because they're cheaper, that's what they're gonna do. They want to save money. They're gonna save money. They're gonna let you go, and you can't do nothing about that because you have no say. You have no control. You have no leverage. But that's why I'm looking at Black folks like y'all have to make your own thing. You have to build your own thing.
What leverage? Okay, define leverage. Like what is that?
I would say you have an advantage. You have something over others in a sense.
Well, I mean, like, what does that look like
You
in
have something that you
reality?
can
So,
so for example,
okay, go ahead.
say so if Black folks like have a tech firm or they own a tech firm or something, they can determine who they can hire in that tech firm. Or like they since they have a tech firm and they get contracted and they just have a lot of quality tech workers. And like maybe say a European business says, hey, we want you to help us out with cybersecurity and try to help out with the software. Like since you guys have, this sector in like under y'all control, they can't just say like we won't find somebody else, but because like they're y'all the best at this, right? Like something like that. We don't really have stuff like that. Like how you think about hip hop and it's not even the music's not really owned by Black folks, even though they're the face of it. So they have no leverage. Like they can't argue for better deals. You don't have nothing. You're just some random person. They can find somebody else.
Okay, so do you think, um, let's say Asians, Orientals,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Not Indians. Do you think they mostly employ their own people? Like most Asians are employed by other Asians?
We talking America or like just Asia?
America.
I'm not sure, but I do know like carry out stores. I know like when you go to Chinese food and order that, like they employ their own.
So the answer is no. All right, they do not.
East Asians,
Most
right?
Mexicans do not. East Asians,
Okay.
Oriental. All right, most Mexicans do not employ most Mexicans. All right, there is this extrapolation from seeing people in restaurants and thinking that translates to the rest of the economy. It does not. All right. It just doesn't. So what other groups have that, or what other groups practice that Black people as a group do not practice, is um, forming families and class separation. So Black people as a group do not have the raw material to take advantage of anything. When I say raw material, I mean families, right? People who are nuclear families, fully westernized, participating in civilization. They don't have that. All right. And we also, and here's the other thing that I notice, they talk about, or Black people talk about Black people as if they are immigrants. They are not. Right? We're not immigrants. Right? We've been integrated for decades. Right? We've been here since the beginning. We're not immigrants. We don't operate like immigrants. We don't have a durable culture outside of America. Right? They've tried to invent it with pro-blacks and all this other stuff, but that's all, that's around the fringes. Right? If you are the descendant of slaves, you are an American, first and foremost. So in the same way that white people don't operate as a group, right? They have rural tribes, they have urban tribes, they have left tribes, they have right tribes. That is the exact same way Black people are integrated, excepting there is this concept in which we are still referring to each other as we and us, and there's a they. But the fact is, most in reality, most Black people don't overlap except at the barbershop. So is you're going to have to form family foremost. There's no program that's going to help you. Right? We've got, when is it? We've gone from civil rights till today. And there have been dozens and dozens of programs tried. Nothing has helped. Matter of fact, they've just gotten worse.
What right? Programs are we referring to? What do you mean by programs?
War on poverty.
Oh, okay, those Section 8. Those type of programs, okay.
Training, job training.
I've been to some job training. Community college. Yeah. Right. They don't address the fundamental problems.
Yeah, the problem is they don't form families. Period. That job one, don't form families, right? Because people that live in the hood, live in bad environments, if they grow up in a 2-parent home, still have an extraordinarily better chance of succeeding than people that don't. I mean, it just is what it is. But the problem is, not the problem, but the challenge is, if you accept that as true, the first thing you run into is Black culture, which is anti-family. All right, it is matriarchal, it is pro-strong woman, and all this other nonsense that is, in the end, is anti-family. So the answer to how do you overcome this, you have to promote marriage.
I think we went left field. I was just talking about more in the job market. One thing I do want to ask you is, like, where did that come from that you say that those groups don't hire their own the most? Like, where did that come from? I'm interested to know your perspective on it.
Yeah, I've looked it up.
It's okay. Where do you find that? Like, I'd like to see that myself. That's new.
Yeah. Percent of how would you find that again? Percent of people employed by their race. And the point is, there just aren't enough business owners. Mm-hmm. Right? There just aren't enough business owners. For every one business owner, you have tons of employees. So the math never works out.
I do agree. But I do agree. Like, people of other races hire other folks, right? Like, if an Asian is here by himself, he's going to hire anyone that can just do the job. What I do know is, like, I went to a Korean hot pot, Chinese hot pot, and in those stores, like, even though the area is predominantly Black, they had mostly Asians in there. I'm not saying that you can't work in a Korean hot pot, Chinese hot pot, but I do know that they do get connected into those positions. Like there is like people like LeBron
Well, of
James and
course.
his son Bronny. You know, LeBron as a father was trying to help his son out get into NBA, which is what a father would want to do for their kid, just try to help them in life and whatnot. But it's just that when you're a hiring manager or whatever, your hiring practices are influenced by who you are, where you come from. And I'm not saying you're gonna hire if you're a black person in the neighborhood, you're gonna just hire like some ghetto black person. You might like how you say you care about your values might be caring about hard work and actually not making excuses. So you might hire people that have those values and show those values. They may not even be black. But it's like understanding that because that's something I never got taught in job readiness training. But I understood like who you talk to in the interview, they're all gonna vary. They're all gonna be different. They never say that though. They just try to give you the same general questions. Like, no, they're not gonna ask that. Some people don't ask these questions. Some people might have a different
Can
form of
hear you.
conducting interviews. So,
Apologies.
like I
I think you
wasn't
kind of
sure
brought
like
me.
how many the percentage. I wasn't sure about the percentage, but that's good to know. But I do know what happens, but I'm not sure about to the extent that it does. So if
Well,
it doesn't, then I can understand.
the difference
I
is
can
the
acknowledge it.
professional class. No. If if you're whatever Korean, right, and the Korean buddy you grew up
Hmm.
with became a chiropractor, where are you going to get your chiropractic, right?
From him.
Exactly. Now, if you grew up in the hood and you made it out of there and became a professional, and now you're moved to the suburbs, which one of your homies you going to get chiropractic from?
None of them. None of them.
Exactly. So that's why I go back to the economic problem is it cannot escape the family problem.
We agree on that actually. We agree on that. Like actually, that was just a question about more of like group economics. But if one like, because for me, I can't elaborate fully with the limitations on like that platform. But
Mhm.
I was trying to talk yesterday that how a lot of the degenerates in the black community actually devalue the community and they prevent investment in the community. Like the things that
Yeah,
they do doesn't allow it to be built or grow. So we agree on this. Like I completely agree that this because it's anti-family. The culture is anti-family. But that's why I was telling like we need to separate, completely
yes,
separate
exactly.
from these people and because there's nothing we can do for them. And we have to make our own thing separate and do our own thing. Guy asked me, you want to out procreate Pookie? I'm like, I don't care about them. We need to focus on our thing and build our own thing because once we have our own assets and we have our own thing over here, they want to come over here and join likely because they're going to look at it as high status, like mobility. They're going to look at it as
Hmm.
upward mobility for them. But you don't have to let them in if they don't
Nope.
want to get with the program.
And that's why ultimately my goal is, or my theory, my hypothesis is to move the poles of black culture apart, right? Because nature abhors a vacuum. So people are either going to get sucked into, you know, okay, well, let me back up. Two poles in black culture, right? The ghetto pole and educated northern culture, right? Those are the
Hmm.
two poles. So what you do is you move the educated northern culture away from the ghetto culture, create a vacuum,
Hmm.
and then people can get sucked into it, right?
Yeah, I
This
agree.
overlap between people of different classes really stymies everybody, right? Are you familiar with what is that called? The tangle of pathology.
No.
Okay, so it's the it's the concept that upwardly mobile blacks that grow up around not upwardly mobile blacks absorb that culture and then proceed to go backwards in life, right? That was written about in actually an official government document, the Moynihan Report. So that's part of like the congressional record, right? So, um, and I've seen this to be true, right? You wonder why, black women from middle class families go get educated and then date low class black men, right? The tangle of pathology.
Mm-hmm.
It is ruthless and it spares no one. So that is a consequence of, right, not moving apart. And what was I going to show? Darn it. Oh yeah, I was going to show my little graphic here. Where'd that go? Ah, there it is. All right, so yeah, the two poles of black culture, right? Educated northern culture, you have nuclear families, you value education, you have self-regulation, competence, confidence, you are industrious, right? Long-term planning, interracial marriage, and an internal locus of control. And cast down your buckets is what Booker T. Washington said in his Atlanta speech. That basically grow where you're planted, you form bonds with like-minded men, and succeed. So, and then black rednecks, right? It's built on Marxism. You know, just in dysgenic breeding, sloth, inferiority complex, excuses, single parent homes. It's matriarchal, got a 70% bastardy rate. And the problem is there is overlap. I mean, right? This diagram doesn't represent the overlap. It represents moving away and creating that vacuum in the middle, right? And that's what you got to do, right? Because if you don't, right, your daughter's gonna date a miscreant if you do not protect yourself. And yeah, man, I know people who good dudes, man. Their daughter is dating a freaking bum, a bum, and you know, and all races as well, right? So this applies to a lot of people. There's like, and I'm raising a daughter, so I'm raising her as far away from this as possible. All right, so that it seems alien by comparison. So, hey, what's up, Passport Rose? So, yeah, basically, that's what it is. So when I say you got to go and you got to go do your own thing, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about creating a vacuum, right? And you just can't participate in it because it will come for your family, man. You see it too much.
I mean, I've seen it plenty of times already.
Mm-hmm. Pablo, what up, Pablo? I ain't seen you in a minute, Holmes. Excuse me. So
I think that's a
so
reason.
to answer your question, go get married.
I think that's a reason. I'm actually hearing my voice. At playback.
Say again. Dang, man.
Everything good?
Sorry, I didn't hear
good?
you. If you said something, I might have cut out, man. My internet is lagging severely. I don't think it's the internet. I think it's his laptop. The processing power is freaking. Ever since it updated to Windows 11, it has been a dog, an absolute dog. But anyway, continue, sir.
Thinking about the social aspects of all this, where the women will go choose those men. I do see a lot of black men focus on who those women date. I've been around in spaces where they obsess over it. Because you might hear me say like y'all need to stop talking about it so much. Not never talk about it, but to the point where we have nothing to show for it. So we have to focus on doing what we have to do. Like some of the men have to focus on getting everything they got together and build, like at least attempt to. Because if you have a lot of men right now on the platform, or a lot of men that understand and see this, there should be like a network, or for men to kind of like collectivize and to put the course of action into play. Since we have a collective interest, in our future right now.
There is a network. It's out there.
It's good to know. It's good to know if it is.
Yeah, you bring up a point. I think the main impetus between or of, the male-female dynamic and relationship within, Black YouTube is the problem, right? They got to solve that problem, and they just don't know how to do it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's what it's going to be. Because men that can secure women outside of Black women really don't care, right? That's what I notice. The female talk for them is dead because they have secured a female outside of the Black community, so they don't have to. They don't have to worry about it. So I think that's why, what is that? SYSBM is increasing and expanding and bound to continue, I mean, heck, by 2030, there's probably going to be over 1 million more married Black men than Black women. And it's just going to keep going. So, yeah, that's what I think is going to happen.
There is something I do want to ask you. I come from a Black predominant area.
Yes, sir.
It's about the demographic. Black predominant area. This isn't really saying you're wrong or anything. Where I come from, and the things I've seen, where I come from, I go out and I see a construction site, right? Mostly Hispanic.
Oh, yeah.
Not one Black person. I don't, and the thing is, I check the demographics. The area, like the whole area is like more over 60% Black. Hispanics do not dominate. Then I was on a forum. In that area, it was local. And they said, it was a Hispanic person, he's Mexican. He said to me, you have to change the way you speak. You have to start speaking Spanish. And he said, because demographics change over time. I'm like, you're not even the majority. Now and the thing is, when I go and look for a job, like when I was looking for a job, just looking around, they say, you gotta speak Spanish, you gotta be bilingual. I was like, what? Most people here speak English. I understand if it's what's those jobs where they have to interpreter? I get those. I understand those type of jobs. Like I was telling folks, Black folks here, since we dominate and most Black folks are the ones that are in the local government, they have done a lot to accommodate these people. Like they will make Spanish speaking forms for them and all that. They'll even give them like bilingual job fairs and all that stuff. And then most of the jobs now asking you have to speak Spanish. And I'm like, most of us here went to school speaking English, learning that. And we gotta speak Spanish. So like that's why I was bringing up some stuff I was saying. I'm not, because this is not saying you're wrong, but it just adds to like the context of my statement that like sometimes some groups, like how what they will prefer on their job site, because a Hispanic person might say, well, I would want people like me on the job site so I can just have an easier time working. Sometimes that's how it is. Because before, like over 10 years ago, it wasn't like that. And then I was asking like, why am I driving past the construction site all the time and I don't see no Black people? But then I worked with Black folks when I was working. And then a lot of them would take these jobs that they said, like Democrats said that nobody wants. I'm like, okay, I see this Black man doing this job. I see this Black man want to do this job. I met some Black men that want to do HVAC. And they were trying to tell this Black woman that the Hispanics are trying to push us out. Like that's what they're witnessing. And then she said, well, you have to understand there's a language barrier and Black folks are lazy. And that's why I'm just coming in saying, well, before many Black folks operated more individually, just trying to, make a living, start their career, build something, right? Then they come in and suddenly they're getting pushed out. Like there's a video of this African man on TikTok saying that Hispanics came to him because he owns the business. The Hispanics came to him and said, "Don't hire those Black Americans, hire us. Kick them out and hire us." That's what he was basically pointing out. And he told Black folks like, "Yeah, they're moving you guys from the space. They're trying to at least." That's what he was saying. Or you have other Black men at construction sites saying, like he worked there for like over 10 years, and he's saying like these Hispanics, illegal immigrants, really are kicking us out. Like they don't want us here. They're racist towards us. I have a woman. I have a girlfriend, and for some years now, she told me that some people she knew, some Black men she knew worked on the construction site. They're saying like, "Hey, these people are removing me, or they're racist towards me. They don't want me to work there." Like all these men are just sharing their own unique experiences. They're not giving up, but they're just sharing like what they've experienced working in these spaces. You know, and seeing that is like, okay, so there's a pipeline because I was trying to tell a guy last night. He was arguing with me, but I was telling him last night that in Florida, and I watched the video and I did not hear that it happens in other states, but there's a CDL scam. And they pay these illegals under the table to get CDLs. And they go on the street with a CDL and they haven't even been trained. They'll also get driver's license under the table. So seeing all this, we're not even aware that it's happening, but it's happening, right? And so we can see like they're working the job, and then somebody might say, well, they're working, where are you doing wrong? And I'm thinking, well, you're not aware of the pipeline until it's exposed. Now everybody's realizing we was being played. We was getting like displaced and we didn't even know it. We didn't even know it was getting displaced. That's why I'm more like, we need to kind of come together. Now, the aspect about family you said, actually, that's something I agree with, but I didn't add in there in my initial statement because I didn't know that's how you was thinking about it. But what I'm thinking of is when we make a community, it's a bunch of families that have a collective goal of achieving the same outcome, right?
Correct.
We want to empower ourselves, right? Like I agree with that. That's why when you said that, I was like, okay, I need to frame myself better to this guy because he didn't understand what I was trying to ask him. I'm not, because I agree with you saying that don't make excuses, do the best you can, all that. Because when I go to any job site, regardless of how it is, I do my best. I try to be professional as I can be. I shake hands. I give eye contact. I articulate myself. Try to be cooperative on the job site, regardless of how it is. That's just how we have to do it. We have to be the best worker. We have to produce the best work, the best outcome, because that's how we strive for better. That's how we actually elevate ourselves. That's a great mindset. I agree with that fully. Because what I'm acknowledging is like there's things that we're vulnerable to just because we don't really have anything. So the fact that they have a pipeline where they can come in and do all that stuff and you don't even know it, and then you're wondering like, wait a minute, they require me to do this X, Y, and Z, and I can't get in there because in the blue collar sector, right? And look, there was a lot of white folks in there that actually they're open to anybody. So I try to include that and be nuanced about it because I know a lot of them don't really care who they're hiring. They don't mind if you're Asian, Black, or white. Like those white folks, some of them in those places don't care. But what I've seen from the Indians and the tech, and I looked up like the companies like Google and everything, and I see a CEO, it just started to stand out to me like, okay, there might be some bias in their hiring standards, right?
Well, let me ask you this, have you taken into consideration that they are a caste culture?
Yes, I already know about that, yes.
Yeah. So the nepotism isn't so much, the nepotism is innate.
Yes.
Right? Inescapable.
Because actually,
So
here's one thing I tried to
is-
tell some Black tech workers. I mean, not Black tech workers, but Black folks when they were trying to come after to defend the Indians. I said, do you guys realize that a white person is more likely to hire you than this Indian in that same industry? Like, many Black folks are getting hired by these white folks. Y'all not realize that when y'all work at Target, CVS, like this is not Black owned, but a white person might give you an opportunity or a chance, and you got to maximize it, right? Like what I'm saying here is, when you have other groups come in and try to collectivize in their own way, or maybe maybe in some stores, not everywhere, because you can have like a Hispanic manager who's not connected with any of that. He don't care who he hires. But then you have in some places where it's low key, that it's not exposed, nobody knows. they're not letting you in there, and you don't know why. You might apply, but you don't get nothing back, or they see you. Because I went in and I've been interviews, and I went into the room, and it's all these Hispanic people. They never call me back. They never email me nothing. Right? I gotta go and look for the next job. Right? But it taught me, because the people that was more likely to hire me were people that shared my skin tone, like more likely to like that shared my skin tone. But when I went inside the room and I spoke to somebody and it was a Hispanic dominated workplace, they wasn't hiring me. They never contacted me. Now I wasn't mad. I didn't leave. I just took it. And I understand this is the reality of the world, right? Some people are going to hire people that share more cultural similarities sometimes. Like if so these type of people, they're going to maybe more want people like them, just because that's what they prefer more, right? Like that's what they want in their
Mhm.
workplace. But it's not me tell folks that you should give up. That doesn't do nothing. But it's more me acknowledging that if we just had something, we can improve and influence our chances to gain more, to have more opportunity, to create a market actually for some people that don't even have nothing to do. Like that's why in the space last night, I was trying to tell folks that hey, imagine we created a business, right? And we made like say like a studio in this area. Because the area I live in, they said is one of the richest is one of the most wealthiest black areas in the country. And I go out there,
Where you at? You in PG
huh?
County? PG
Not
County?
anymore. Second.
Oh,
Second now.
oh, oh, you moved south?
No, no, it's actually in the same state, but I think it's like Carroll, Howard. Let me look it up. It's one of those.
No, no, it's the next county over,
Yes,
basically.
because many people that from PG moved
Okay.
there because they didn't like PG no more. Like it was had
Right, right.
problems, right? Like this is me living in the most wealthiest, apparently black county. So like I come from that perspective. And the thing is, I'm not trying to tell because some other people they live in different places. Usually, I try to ask them a question like, "How is it where you are?" Because I can't really speak your experience on where you're from, because that will help give a bigger like a bigger picture to all this. Like we can actually make like a big picture to understand like how everything is according to the regions and whatnot. Where I'm at though, like the county is protecting illegals. They just protect them, right? And they give them resources. They on that black and brown stuff. I've been to like the resource fairs and I seen council members talk like, well, because they lost their federal job. Some of them lost it. So they said you may have to pay some people's bills. That's what they were actually saying in that. And then also they was like black and brown helping all that. And I said, man, I went to a supermarket full of them and there's no black person there. I'm like, this whole area is mainly black. I mean, that particular city was more Hispanic dominated, but like everywhere I go, like if it's a Hispanic store, I don't see no black person there. Yet we dominate the county. We dominate the county. And then I saw a writing. I used to work over there, and by these apartments, and somebody wrote something said, "I wish black people stood next to each other like the Hispanics do." Like that's what's the sentiment going on over here. Like folks are realizing, because I remember my dad was talking to somebody. He said, "Yo, the black girl at that store left," and then the other girl said, "Oh, they might get a Hispanic there instead." Like that's the sentiment now. People are kind of catching on to a problem. They're catching on to something that they said something is not right about this. Because where all these people come from? Like like how y'all getting these jobs and y'all can't even speak English? Like why is there so many resources being given to you guys? And like we're the ones struggling. Like how is that happening? Why we're paying our taxes to help you guys out? How did somebody here stay was illegal living here for like over 20 years? How does that happen? Right? Seeing that, it's like, man, we really don't have nothing. Because what I was telling my friend, he's going to college for IT. And I said, like, well, we don't really have nothing here. We have fast food, and that's it. We rely on government jobs here. We don't really, we didn't build nothing here. We didn't build no tech firm. We didn't build no game development studio. Like we didn't build like a science lab or nothing like that. We don't have nothing here, right? That's why when we come out, it's like, man, where's everything at? Because I've been to a lot of job fairs. There was one today. I didn't go, but I've been to like so many over like I don't know how much I can't even count. But I've been to a lot of resource fairs, job fairs. I go to the American Job Center. I go to all that stuff. I check every time to see what's out there, what's new, everything. Every time I go there, it's like they say, "Oh, we do contractual work," and it's not a trade. It's just more like general stuff, like, "Oh, we get called to like pick up some boxes and stuff." But like they're vague. They never really tell you what they do. But I catch on like that's what y'all really do. And the other jobs, like it's just it's weird because they're never clear. They're vague. It's like, oh, we have customer service representatives, so you can come train to do customer service work. I'm just like, wait, we're the wealthiest black county, and we don't. What do we have here? Like, there should be there should be I see an echo actually. I
Hear
see
my
an echo
voice.
actually. I hear my voice.
Go ahead.
So
Can you still
yeah,
hear your
I think
voice?
she still can. Yeah, I think she still can.
Dang, that's weird. Well, let me play this real quick.
Atlanta in the shops of Buckhead. It was
Yeah.
called American Cut, and probably one of the nicest steakhouses there. 3 stories, beautiful, and it was like my best kept secret. I remember Nas was on tour. He stopped by. He was like, "Yo, you own this?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "This is crazy." So we sitting there, but it's all classy.
Right.
Man, the minute I went on radio one day and it was like, "Yeah, I own this American Cut," I went back there. You would have thought it was Freaknik.
They was in there.
The whole thing it started going down. You go in there to eat, you see a cat you used to hustle with. I'm like, oh my God.
Hey, Jesus said I could be up there.
So you were saying?
When I came from those job fairs and I see them, the stuff they was advertising or what positions they had open, it's like we don't really have nothing here. Even though they advertise it as such, it's more like the reason they call it the wealthiest black county because I think home ownership and the income of the people there, but that was more relying on either nursing or federal jobs because they didn't really have nothing here. And it puts it in perspective that, well, y'all can brag about all this other stuff, but what did you build for the future? And I'm not saying like if you make a black business, right? If you're a black person, make a black business, that you only gonna hire black folks, that you have to like give this person who has no principles, they don't show your values, you have to give them anything. You're not entitled to give people anything. But it's more like if you guys share cultural values, you're more likely to get hired over there. Because you might because whether that person says, I don't want to use the internet like this way to hire people. I want to meet people in person, handshake, eye contact, stuff like that. Because I think some of us would actually probably prefer to do things a different way. Because for other groups, they might say, I want to hire you this way, right? I want to do it this way. I want to use AI. But you might say, I want to use AI. I want to meet you in person. I want to see if you share those values that I share. I want to see if you're someone that I can trust. Because I was telling some people that when I put in my resume, they only see a piece of paper. They don't know me. I can't even talk to them because they essentially dehumanize the process. They only see a piece of paper and the AI is going to read it. Whether the AI sees it as like legit or not, they can throw it away or it can pass through, but then it has to go through these other processes that it may not even make into the actual hiring manager. Because that's what I'm saying. Like if we own and we built some stuff, we could definitely mitigate stuff like that, or we could. And I'm not saying everybody's gonna do that because some people, for example, you could have like a black mayor, and I know there's like black female mayors in the country, and they're corrupted and they steal money. Essentially, they just basically just try to prop up their own paycheck.
Are you talking about Cantrell?
Yeah, yes, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Because I'm not trying to say like if
who's
if
that
they
other
share the
kid?
same skin tone, it's always gonna go like fine and dandy. It has to be somebody within the community that you guys might live in the same neighborhood, or he might live like a block from you. And
Well,
what we have families, we attend like events together. We all talk, we all know each other, we have respect for each other. So it's more like we share those values, and you go over there and you guys know each other, and they're like, yeah, I can give you this opportunity. I can give you this chance to work here and to do this X, Y, and Z. I always try to tell them that you have to respect the business owner. You have to respect the supervisor, just like how they have to also, hold their end of the bargain, right? We have to respect each other within this relationship, like because a lot of black folks, like Price said, he was right about when they said that some of them are lazy. I fully agree. Some black folks are lazy. Some of them are lazy. Some of them aren't. Some of them want to work, but some of them are lazy. So when they go inside the workplace, they don't want to do nothing. And that's a disservice to what these people built here because you're not contributing to anything.
that's why. Let me say this. That is why you have to separate.
Exactly. That's why I was trying to tell them that
right?
we can't be around these people because also if you have a business like a grocery store or a convenience store, they're gonna rob it, vandalize it, and destroy it, and we lose money.
And to my point earlier, you cannot just separate. You are then going to have to defend,
Mhm.
right? You and your neighbors, no matter what they look like, from the eventual incursion, right? That is going to happen. So over this next, let's say 10, 20 years, the black people that are separating are then going to have to turn around and defend their lot,
Mhm.
right? They're going to have to defend it and be united with whoever they're at.
Fully agree.
And that is going to be like Booker T. Washington said, cast down your buckets, right? It's not going to be a bunch of people that look like you, right? I mean, some anomalies. There are some PG counties. I'm sure there's some places in the South, but nationwide, most people aren't going to look like
I'm
you.
very happy that you're saying this because when I said to somebody like they tell me you're gonna move them to the white neighborhood, I'm like, bro, if they have to go there, yes. Like, what do you mean? They have to do something. They had to start somewhere. Like we because the culture right now is pretty antagonistic and antisocial. So whatever they gotta do to like get started, yes. Because for me, like I always talk to my girl like about marriage and starting a family and everything because that's what we plan to do. So she says she don't want to be around this, and I said like I want my kids to be around this. 'Cause when I'm talking to people, it's like imagine you have children and they're around this sort of stuff. Like they go to school and they got to deal with these sort of kids. These kids from these broken these households. Why would I want my children around this unstable, toxic environment when I trying to send them there for an education? Like they're not putting it in perspective. I think that's where the misunderstanding comes from. Like some folks are talking about it in a different way, like the image and everything. I'm like, your image is going to change because once you have certain people that are doing productive things, the image over time will naturally change, and some people will be able to naturally separate these folks from these other people. It just happens naturally as time goes on, as folks are like, certain black people are getting theirs and they're building their thing up, right? Like this is that's why I don't know how people complicate it. Like they say I can't help this people out. I'm like, no, you might see somebody one day that might be a black guy or a black woman, and you notice, what they're doing, or you see their behavior and you respect them a bit because they're doing things the right way. When I've gone to the gym, I met a lot of older black men that give me props because they're saying I'm doing things the right way, and that I was doing things in a more principled manner, that I'm actually like, taking care of myself. They gave me props for it. Those men, like, they were happy just to see a young person do that. They were very happy to see that. They said, "Oh, you're not cheating. You're actually getting your full reps. You're doing your full range of motion." They like that because they say this for their lives, and they was happy to see a young person come in and actually do things more in a healthy, right way, like not ego lift or nothing like that. So I look at folks like, yeah, you're gonna want to actually go to that person and want to help them out. Once you see what they're on, you might say, oh, this person, they work really hard. They always they articulate themselves really well. They always try to de-escalate. It's like, yeah, I want to help you out. Like, I think you have a lot of potential. Let's try to give you an opportunity where you can, like, go even farther. That's why some people told me like, now I can help them. I'm like, no, you might want to help somebody because you might see them. You might say, like, that person right there is different. You're not going to help out some random like guy that's clearly like a criminal and shooting up the place, and you're not going to help out this random woman who keeps sleeping around with a bunch of men. Like, you're not going to do that. You're going to help the people that you feel from your own discretion that, hey, I think they have what it takes to, elevate themselves. I think they have the right mindset. I just look at folks like, why is that so hard for anyone to understand? We naturally live like that. Because I'm not telling them to mentor anyone,
Well,
like,
you gotta-
but mentor who you want to.
I shoot. Actually, I gotta go. Darn it! But there is a reason for that, and it is cultural.
Mhm.
Because there is there is a part of black culture in the lower class where they have to be a lower class, right? They don't conceive of being equal, right? They believe in all this other stuff, right? So I don't know what not that I don't know. I recognize it, but that's where a lot of what you're seeing comes from. But I got to get out of here. I got to go meet the missus. What time is it? So, hey, good chat with you,
I
Scorpio.
appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming up. Hey, and I appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for participating. Like, share, subscribe, all that other good YouTube stuff. And I'm out, and I'll talk to you later. Good talking to you,
Good
Scorpio.
talking to you too.